Hello. My name is Kate, and welcome back. Last week, we worked on all this beautiful scenery right here, and this week, we are going to do a little bit more terraforming, I believe. So, if you notice in my inventory, I have collected a lot of cobblestone. I've spent probably a good about 30 minutes or so just digging a hole, mining some cobblestone out. As you can see, this is mostly still untouched. But I want to work on this a little bit. See, I want this over here to be kind of a mountain. I want to go ahead and start working on it because I want to start building farms and I want my farms to go in here. And so in order to do that, I need to go ahead and build it. And so we're going to tackle this a couple of ways, I believe. So for one, I do want it to kind of cover this coastline. I don't want to have to worry about any of that later on. I'll go through and refine it or whatever. So I am going to not circle it, but I am going to bring it around all these edges over here. And what I'm thinking is I want like 3 main points, right? So I want to be able to put some buildings on the outside of it, but also be able to go inside. And so I want to encapsulate all of this, and I want to be able to encapsulate all of this, and I want to also like have varying heights and not just one tall peak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of center points for the peaks, as well as do the outline and other things. So first things first, I actually need to grab a bucket. I haven't thought about how I want to merge this terrain into this terrain yet. I'm pretty sure this might this well this will come up some because it's got to blend in, but I'm not sure where I want the blending to start. It's going to be somewhere around here. So I want to leave room to stick like a nice decent sized building in here, along with a couple of smaller buildings because I kind of want to put the villagers on the outside of the mountain instead of building them like a trading hall. And then everything else, I would like to be able to put the majority of all my other redstone stuff on the inside. So, for example, this very poorly and quickly put together sugarcane farm, which is producing, decently enough. There's like half a stack worth of sugarcane in there. I think there's like 32 growing. I'm not sure. I don't remember. And so what I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to pick a couple of points. So like right in here is a good spot to center the biggest peak, I think. And so I'm just going to kind of start climbing like this. And then whenever I'm done, I'm just going to drop the water bucket and float down the end. So while I'm doing this, I want to just kind of talk for just a second. Well, first I'm going to look. Okay, I actually want this to go a little bit more that way because I kind of want this to be one big section. All right, so that's much better. Now there's a little bit room for like a small. Okay, so I moved this slightly. It was like right about there. It's a little bit more centered with this section. It's still not even really centered, but it's better. But so I'm gonna keep climbing. But while I'm climbing, I want to talk for a second. I plan to start streaming, or at least attempting to stream next. I think. Check. Yeah. I plan to start streaming like next week. Well, by the time this comes out, let's see, this will post on Monday, so that Tuesday, so like the very next day. For me, it'll be next week. I would like to start streaming, and something I want to do in some of the streams, not all of the streams, some of the streams, is I want to learn and understand Redstone at a much more fundamental level and a much better level than what I do. As it stands right now, my Redstone knowledge isn't great. It's good, but it's not great. And so I'm gonna take the time to sit down and learn how Redstone works in the core fundamental levels and expand upon it. And so one thing that I'm gonna do to help solidify these ideas is I'm going to sit down and design pretty much every farm that I use. Some things I won't, like for example, I'm not gonna like I don't need to redesign that, although I will probably make one better at some point in time, but like if it's a tried and true thing, like I won't design a new sheep shearer with the 1 by 1 hole in the ground type of thing. All right, 2 stacks worth of blocks. But so that's something I want to do. Is I want to sit down and design my own farm. So my first stream, I want to sit down and do, I believe, an iron farm. Because while they're not super redstone heavy, they're more technical redstoney, but it's still ooh, oops. They're more technical redstoney. They're not even redstoney. There's the only redstone really involved in a iron farm is the collection system, really. And so, I want to sit down and take the time to learn how they work on a fundamental level, and hopefully use that as a process to also teach some redstone in the process. While I don't want to focus primarily on teaching with the things that I do, I do think like it's if I'm learning, why not learn? Why not also show what I'm learning as I go? And so I plan to stream the process. So if you would like to join me on those journeys, they will be over on Twitch starting hopefully next week. And if not, I will update as that goes. I also don't plan to stream just Minecraft on streams. I plan to have 1 day a week. So I plan to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on Thursdays I plan to stream something other than Minecraft. So hopefully you'll enjoy me. Hopefully you'll come and join me on my streams. And now I'm gonna finish putting these pillars in. I have put in the pillars that I was talking about, and so these are not representative of the actual height that they will be. So let me say that first and foremost. So I want it. I this will come a little bit later whenever I figure out a little bit more about how this is going to shape out and how it's going to look. But so I wanted to. So okay, let me just kind of talk through this for a second. So over here, I want this to kind of come up and kind of plateau a little bit and then go up again. And then I want this to kind of make a small valley before going back up to that one. This will be the tallest point. It may be taller on the other side than it is on this side, but I think this kind of represents kind of what I'm looking for. From here, all I'm going to do is use the landscaping techniques and knowledge that I have. So the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 5s, like I've used in plenty of other places around the base. I'm going to take that and just go around the edges with this cobblestone here until I get a shape that I relatively like. And so just from here, I just need to find a starting point and begin. VoiceOver K here. Unfortunately, somehow I lost some of my footage. I recorded explanations for what's going on in these next 2 clips, but while the audio is in those clips, the video is just a black screen for some reason, so I'm going to look into that. So in the first clip here that you're currently watching, I'm just building the base structure and outlines for everything else that is going on. So this is just to give me kind of a better idea of what this will look like and if it's going to look how I want it to. I'm only doing a section of the mountain. I'm not doing the whole mountain here, but I just want to get a better idea of what it's going to look like based off of how I think it's going to look like. In the second clip, which you'll see in just a second, I am building a small section of the mountain. I'm building just a small face, and you'll see that it really is. It's like not even a quarter of what I've outlined here, but it's just so I can get things kind of started. the mountain complete. Like I said, this is only a very small section of the mountain. Be careful, apparently there's pufferfish in the water, and based on that fact. But see, you can see here, I've only completed this very small section, and this took an entire inventory full of stone. It took a lot. So here we are, giving you a good look, good round view. So something I would like to talk about really fast is this. There's a section that you can see in the time lapse where I go through and I kind of take a section out, put it back, and move around a lot. Over in this area over here, right? Right about here, there's a curve right here. This wall. There's a curve here that I didn't account for. And usually whenever I'm doing something like this, and I've already laid out the foundation on the ground like I have, I usually go ahead and account for the turns because the turns can be a little bit weird in how they function as far as like getting the ground down. So you can see the turn better right here. And usually what I'll do to kind of plan for is I'll like here's another one. I'll do a line here and I'll do a line here and then I'll fill it up and fill it in the middle. And you can see that I kind of got that rhythm back down, but it took me a minute to refine that rhythm. It's a small thing to do, but it's something that'll be really helpful and save you a lot of going back and forth. As you can see right here, there's a curve right here, and I'm accounting for this curve ahead of time by going ahead and placing this line right here. That way, so right now all I gotta do is just kind of fill it in the middle and just kind of go up until it reaches that point. Something else I would like to talk about real quick is I took this door out and put these windows in, and then all these windows just match the ones on the other side. I still haven't figured out where those zombie noises are coming from. But I took it out to match the one on the other side. I find that I use this front door more often anyway, and I would like to expand my storage. And so I just kind of laid some chests out here to kind of get an idea of how it's going to flow in the house. And obviously I'll move those and replace them here. But so I could go ahead and just throw in storage in here so I could have a pretty good amount of storage. I went ahead and just replaced it because the door was right here and it's kind of very inconvenient, especially when you start to think like I'm probably gonna put signs on these. And so I just wanted to mention that I was this little preemptive planning there to go ahead and plan for more storage because I'm starting to kind of, run a little low on storage. So that way everything will be nice and sorted and ready to go. I'm still thinking about pathways and pathing to go on the ground through here. I haven't figured out how I want to connect this to the silos over there, and I'm thinking maybe that'll become more apparent as I do a little bit more. I'm thinking about path blocks to use because personally, I don't prefer this. I don't prefer this. I prefer to do something else that is loud. And so if you have any suggestions, let me know. I would love to hear them. Love to see and play around with something different and something interesting and new. I believe that's all we're gonna have time for today. I'm sorry it's a short video. There's not much I can do about the lost footage. It's just it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. If you like the video, feel free to give it a rating. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Goodbye.